So I probably should not even address what I'm about to address, but and especially since I don't have any notes in front of me or anything like that, and I know how a lot of you can't stand how scatterbrained I am, and to be honest, I can't stand it either. It's not fun. It's not fun at all to be an adult who can't remember what you're about to say next, even when you're prepared. And it doesn't help that my kids are extremely loud. Even if you can't hear them, they are extremely loud, despite how many times I have kindly asked them to lower their volume. So yeah, where to begin? Okay, so I was made privy to a group on Facebook called Dolly Won't Drown. And I was made privy to this group by really concerned viewers of mine. Oh, I don't know if they're viewers. I don't know, but they sent me messages on YouTube, and they sent me the links to this Facebook group. So at first I actually did not even know that YouTube had an inbox. Like, I've had my YouTube account since, I believe, 2006 or 2007. And I never once knew there was a separate inbox for YouTube. Like, I just assumed since it was tied to the Google account that if I got an email, it would be sent to my Google+, but that's not how it works. So when I opened it up, I had emails going as far back as to when I was 19 and was posting videos about the Casey Anthony case. So it was kind of crazy. It was like I can't say it was like a good thing necessarily, because I wasn't ready for that. I'll just leave it at that. But so there were the first, I want to say, 3 messages at the top. They were informing me about a group that they felt like I should see because they were worried about my safety. So normally when I would read something like that, I would be kind of like, but because it was, more than one person telling me this, I felt like, okay, I guess I'll go check it out. And it's called Dolly Won't Drown, like I said. And at first glance, I was like, okay, this person, they type a lot in caps lock, whoever's running this, they clearly have temper issues. They clearly don't really care about Katelyn if their whole mission is to degrade anyone who comes out and cries out about Katelyn, anybody who's disgusted and wants to vent about this case or try to bring justice to her. If their mission is instead to attack those and be suspicious of those who come out and talk about her, that's not even helping Katelyn. That's distracting from Katelyn, and that's just drama, and that is, it's pure conspiracy, and it's, in my opinion, it's projection, because the very thing that this person, whoever's controlling this group, is doing, the very thing that this person is accusing others of doing is what they're doing. So anyway, at first I was gonna just blow it off as, okay, this is obviously a troll. Then I saw that over 200 people had liked this page. So that's when I was like, okay, so there are people who actually think this page has merit. And then I thought, well, why do people want me to look at this page? Like, what do I have to do with this? Like, this has nothing to do about Katelyn. This has nothing to do about her remaining family members. This has nothing to do with anything like that. So then I saw that the most recent post, or I haven't looked at it in a while. Sorry, my kids are being really loud. I haven't looked at it since, like, before I took a shower, which would have been 2 hours ago. Maybe they've posted something since then. I don't know. I just literally got out of the shower, dried off, put some lotion on, and here I am now on my phone. So I saw that they had made a status with my name in it, which on Facebook it is Davy, and then a last name, which I'm not going to say right here just because I don't want too many people sending me messages on there, since I now know that YouTube has an inbox. And which, by the way, I can only access my inbox on YouTube on my laptop. I've noticed for some reason I can't find it on my YouTube app on my phone. So anyway, I noticed they had my name in this status. So, and like I said, I wasn't too worried about what this person was going to say, because they clearly are not all in the head. So, unlike this person, I'm not going to come out and say that they have some agenda like they're saying about everyone else who talks about Katelyn, but let's just say that nothing this person is saying has any evidence to back up what they're saying. It's really weird. It's almost like this person is competitive, and I don't understand what their position is in helping Katelyn have some sort of justice. So in this status, forgive me again, like that's why I started off the video saying that I am aware that I'm very scatterbrained, and it's not something I'm proud of. It's something I'm trying to work on. it's just when there's pressure for me to talk, it's like I have this kind of OCD sort of thought where if I think to myself that Rachel, you're going to forget what you're about to say, I will literally forget what I'm about to say. And then I kind of have this like I mentally freeze, and I consider it some sort of like some sort of disorder. I don't know, but it's something that happens. Okay, so now that you know that, whatever, I apologize. I know it can be really annoying. I know I am an annoying person. I get that, but so I'm with you there. But anyway, so in this status, this person or people, I don't know how many people are running this, said that they said had my name in it, Davey, except they also had my last name, which means they've somehow accessed my Facebook page, which I also find kind of weird. I did leave it in a comment one time on a video, but it was like to one person, and it was like in a barrage of comments, so like not many people really saw. So that means this person literally is like reading every comment, even the ones that aren't top comments, so whatever. So and they were calling me how did it say? An ARC, BITCH, YouTube star. I found that really interesting because if you look at my YouTube, as the first videos I ever posted were karaoke. I mean, because I've always loved to sing. So I was singing karaoke at 19 years old through headphones in a kitchen, and Disney karaoke, really. And then I'd upload stuff of my children. Wow, what a shocker, right? And then from then on, it's just random. If I feel cute, I will dance or sing or whatever. And I don't see how I've ever done anything on my channel to indicate that I want to be a YouTube star. When I was 19, I spoke out about the Casey Anthony case because Kaylee was the same age as my son when Kaylee was, and I say this with quotations, missing. So I got very emotionally invested in that. I devoted a lot of time to try. I was in contact with the investigator, Leonard Padilla. I was very much emotionally invested in that. So say what you will about me wanting to, hold on please, be a YouTube star, whatever that would really be. I'm not sure what a YouTube star would be. Is there really such thing as a YouTube star? Like when I think of a YouTube star, I think of people like who do the gaming videos that my kids really like, the Minecraft stuff, because those people, you can tell like they're very devoted to their channel. I mean, yeah, because they're like actually reliable. I would be like the worst ever YouTuber for someone to rely on for steady content. Yeah. So anyway, I was uploading stuff about Casey Anthony and that case. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I really shouldn't even be addressing this person, but like I said, since I saw that their group had over 200 likes, I felt compelled to. Like, okay, someone is slandering me. And, it's one thing to have an opinion. You can say I'm annoying. You can say I'm a bitch. You can call me conceited. You can say I have mental problems. Say whatever you want. But, sorry, someone's calling. Is it still recording? Let me see. Okay, yes, sorry. So, and here I go again with the OCD thought. Don't forget, Rachel, please. No. I don't know what I was going to say. So I'm going to have to try to guess where I was. I know one of the points I wanted to make was that when I spoke out about Casey Anthony, I got a lot of hate for that. Just from people who, there's always going to be people on opposing sides who say the person you're accusing of being guilty is innocent. So those people were coming after me, and I didn't care. I guess you could say that when something involves a child, or in Katelyn's case, a preteen, especially when it is a female, because I'm female, so I relate better to females, and it's easier for me to call out guilt if I see it in another female. Sorry, this person who's calling me, isn't getting a clue. So I guess you could call it tattletaling. I don't want to say justice seeking because that has a negative connotation right now with the whole social justice warrior thing. But I guess you could say it's if I know that somebody is lying, publicly, in Casey Anthony's case, I in a way, it's almost like I want to bring attention to them. You could call it tattletaling if you want. I want to I want to make it known, call them out on their lies, on their BS, if it involves someone else. Like Kaylee it's not like Casey's just a liar. Kaylee died because of Casey. So anyway, and in the Katelyn case, speaking out about that, it was when I had binge watched all of Katelyn's videos So much so that my son doesn't know how Katelyn passed away, but he knows that she's gone, and he knows mommy cares a lot about this girl because my son he saw me drawing multiple pictures of her. He saw me watching so many videos about her own videos. And my husband knows how much I was like in a funk, like a depression for, I want to say, almost 2 full weeks, where I had to force myself to act happy around my kids because I'm a mother and they don't need to be around somebody who's depressed. It was affecting me that much, which I don't have to explain why. I mean, any of you who've watched Katelyn and know what happened to her, you know what I'm talking about. I've read your comments. I know that a lot of you understand what I'm saying. So, and I still feel like we're all healing. And so anyway, when I saw what made me want to start speaking out about Katelyn is the obvious reasons why, but then also when I saw where she was saying what Anthony, the stepdad, was saying to her, I wanted to make that known in case people weren't really catching on. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really look up what other YouTubers were saying about her. I am an impulsive person. Sometimes it works in my favor, sometimes it doesn't. Whatever, I believe in being natural and real. And here people are going to say, well, why do you wear all this makeup? Well, whatever. I'm talking about with how you feel, feelings. I feel like raw feelings are important, and because then I'm less likely to have any regrets. I'd rather say too much than not enough. I know other people, my husband's the opposite. He'd rather be silent than say too much, but I'd rather say too much. So that's what I do, and that's what I did. I came out about Katelyn. I couldn't help it. I had anger in me because I felt like it could have been prevented. Whether people think it's because of the Prozac or the Anthony or Tammy or the Luke Callahan, whatever the reason, I feel like everyone in her life at that time was guilty. Anyone, her neighbors, the doctors who were prescribing her stuff, everyone in her life, and the people who should have been in her life but weren't in her life. I feel like everyone in some way, friends, whatever. I mean, I feel like everyone was guilty on some level, some guiltier than others, some less guilty, but still guilty if they knew, how does that phrase go about how the only thing worse than doing wrong is by watching wrong and doing nothing about it? There's something, it's along those lines. Okay. That's what really was pushing me. There was nothing even pushing me. Okay. I got angry. I turned on my camera. It's really that simple. There's no insidious agenda. And the people who make it sound like, let's see, okay, Mr. Gunk. Apparently that is a YouTuber. I don't know what he covers. I know that when I made the Anthony video, someone left a comment to me to go look at Mr. Gunk's channel about Anthony, so I did. And I left a comment saying like, good job or something, because, for me, I'm not going to get mad and seek, the thing is, maybe Mr. Gunk does have an agenda, but you know what? Maybe he doesn't. So I'm not going to sit here and, pretend like I know what he's thinking. I don't know. So I think it's sick though to take that chance when we're talking about something like a girl killing herself at 12 years old. I'm not going to accuse people of having an agenda unless there's like solid evidence for that. So anyway, why am I coming out and saying all this about some group run by somebody who I think is a little loony? Well, because this person truly does seem a little potentially harmful. I see why people were concerned and sent me messages about this person, which, by the way, thank you so much. There was someone, well, actually, they were scared for me to even, leave a comment about it because of how nuts this person is. That's why they sent me an inbox. So I'm not going to say their names, but thank you. You know who you are. You know who sent me messages, and thank you so much. This person, what's really freaky is they have several fake profiles on Facebook. And what's really, really freaky is 2 of their profiles were on my friends list because during the Katelyn thing, when I was a part of all these Katelyn groups and we were all kind of just in misery together, talking and crying about Katelyn, this person had several profiles and and it's weird because now in hindsight, this person would always leave condescending remarks to me that I found really kind of freaky. Like they were too personal. I'd always be like, why is this person taking this route? Like, why aren't they, this is about Katelyn. Like, what is this? This is unnecessary, their attitude. Like, it was always strange to me. Sorry, my daughter wanted a sandwich. So if my tone and stuff sounds different right now, it is because I had to push pause and then re-record. So here I am again. So I don't remember exactly again where I left off, so I apologize. But I know some additional things I wanted to say is I'm going to include the snapshots of this person's name if I can find them again, but I know it started with an S, their Facebook page, and then a Levon or something like that for the last name. They say, okay, clearly this person is like, has a lying problem. So when I say this very loosely. They say that their name is Tony Michael Bazley or something like that. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going to post pictures of it. And this person is making it sound like this person is this, I'm going to be nice by saying this. They're this out there that they have composed drawings where they're a little obsessed. You can tell they're obsessed, not with Katelyn, but with, and I don't like saying that again. I don't like saying that about people because I'm not in their heads. So I really could be wrong, who knows, but I don't know what else to think when this person's entire everything on their page is about basically competing and calling out people for talking about Katelyn and being touched by Katelyn. Like, to me, that is sick. That's disgusting. And this person is going after Mr. Gunk. I think that's where I dropped off my last video when I had to pause it. It was Mr. Gunk. Yeah. And what I was going to say is that I don't know anything about Mr. Gunk. I don't know if he has an agenda. I just appreciate anybody who's going to come out and try to, like I was using the word tattle on the people they feel like need to be called out and need attention brought on them. So I've learned more about this Luke Callahan character. Okay, so another thing. Tammy, Katelyn's mother. In my last video, my video before this one, which was also impulsive as always, I didn't really even intend to have the breakdown that I did while recording, but I knew, do you ever know that you feel really regretful and sad about something and you have this guilt that's sitting in you, almost like you can feel this lump in your throat and you're not really sure why, but then it just hits you and then you realize why you're so upset at yourself? That's what it was for me. It was like, before I recorded, I knew I had to. I knew I needed to. And the more I spoke, then it just came out. It all came out at once. And I realized I was feeling really bad about everything that was being said about Tammy. Not because I don't know Tammy. I don't know really anybody in Katelyn's family at all. So for me, I can't judge these people other than what has been put out there. The negative things about Tammy, people say all kinds of stuff like she did, things that people want to say that she did that Katelyn never actually said she did or that were never actually on camera. I am not going to spread that because it's just hearsay as far as I am concerned. People were trying to tell me, I can't even remember off the top. My kids when they're really loud, literally, it's it makes my brain pause. So sorry, but there were certain things in the comments people were trying to say about Tammy, and I was like, look, thanks, but I'm not going to spread this because it's hearsay right now. I do know that when they would have their horrible fights, I know that, and this is on video, so this isn't hearsay, this is what was on video that I saw and heard, that when they would fight, I can remember when Katelyn was saying about an ex-boyfriend of hers who they were in jail because they tried to kill somebody, or it was something like that. Forgive me if I'm wrong about that. But it was something serious like that an ex-boyfriend of Katelyn's did, or some guy she was talking to. And her mother was actually listening and actually responded with, well, you don't need to talk to him anymore. And I felt like that was a good thing that her mother said that. First of all, I love my mother. I know my mother has really tried. She was a great mother for a while. But if I had said that to her, that I had a boyfriend who was in jail for this or that, my mom, it would have gone one ear, not the other. I would have been lucky if she'd even paid attention to what I was saying, let alone respond. And then if she had responded, she would have probably just blown it off as me making something up. So the fact that Tammy listened and responded, I feel like is good. And the fact that she responded with, well, stay away from him is also good. I think, who else was going to tell her that? There was no one else even knowing who Katelyn was talking to. No one else cared to know. No one else asked her, what boyfriends do you have? So I feel like that's important. That's good. And actually, I say that, I don't know if people were asking her if she was dating. I just know that that's what it seems like. So that's an assumption of mine. So when I have people who really like Matthew and they really hate Tammy, and then this crazy person and I say crazy because this person seems freaking crazy, okay, who's running this hate group on other YouTubers and Facebookers who are talking about Katelyn, the Dolly Won't Drown group person or people, that person is very pro-Tammy. And I don't know if this person is affiliated with Tammy, but I know they're very pro-Tammy. And that's another thing they were saying about me, is that I am going after Tammy. Now, I will say that the first interview that I had with Matthew, it was extremely negative toward Tammy. When I'm the type of person that when I first find out something and it's coming directly from a source who's saying that they experienced it, I can't help but be shocked, and I can't help but talk about it. So that's pretty much what it was. I didn't really have time to let it register, think about it, Google anything, hear from other opposing sources, nothing. It was just told to me by someone who said that they experienced this with this person, and then that was it. I reacted. And so, yeah, I mean, this cuckoo head, Dolly Won't Drown person running this group, they want to act like I hate Tammy as a result. I don't know Tammy, okay? So that is really weird to say that I hate the woman, that I'm trying to go after her. A lot of people right now are saying she's pregnant with Anthony's baby. And you know what I keep telling people who tell me that? You know, I heard CPS is involved in her life right now, so everything should be good. So I really don't know why this person is, I don't know what Mr. Gunk has said since that one video I saw about Anthony. I don't know what he has said about Tammy. I know that I felt really bad for her post-interview, enough so to come out and express sorrow for her, especially since she's been silent. And yeah, I really have nothing else to say about that. And as far as people who said it was mean for me to like backtrack, which I don't call it backtracking, I think that's like the wrong word to use, for Matthew, when after the interview I had with Matthew, for me to say like that now in hindsight, I feel like maybe he was being mistruthful about some things or whatever. Sorry, but people who keep it real, like, we change our minds. You know, it's the people who refuse to change their minds. Those are the people who are obsessed with image, and those are the people who want to keep an act up and keep a production. But those are the people who won't publicly shift their opinions. The fact that I am willing to admit that, you know, maybe I could be wrong about something, maybe something seemed inconsistent here. The thing is you can think that someone may have had flaws, but you can still adore that person. You can still respect that person. I still respect Matthew. I do feel like the system failed him. He made a very valid point when he said, what is the point of CPS when their whole thing is supposed to be that they step in and save the kids? Well, what happened with Katelyn is proof that that's absolute BS. So, you know, I understand that the system did fail him in that way. Just because I feel like he could have made more attempts to see his daughter, that doesn't mean that I don't think he loved Katelyn. That doesn't mean that I don't think he's a villain, that I think he's a villain. That doesn't mean that I think he's really in the wrong. I mean, the thing, and I've been saying this to random people who've messaged me here, the thing about Katelyn's story, if you will, is that, or any story where somebody is tragically killed or there's a suicide involved or anything like that, is that you want there to be a bad guy. I mean, that's even in entertainment. Look at every movie, every book, whatever, where there is a tragic thing that happens, you want there to be whether it's a natural disaster or a person or a creature, you want to be able to point your finger at a bad guy. Why? Because then there is some sort of closure. There's some sort of satisfaction. Not really in this sort of case, satisfaction, because Katelyn's gone, but it's a finishing, you can close the book now. You feel like, okay, now this person is going to sit in jail, or now this person is going to be executed, whatever you believe in, whatever kind of punishment you believe in is suitable. But in this case, everyone, in my opinion, failed Katelyn. There's not any one person in this case. Like I said, from neighbors to doctors to school staff. I've worked at my children's school. I just stopped working at their school in January, but before that I was working at their school for a while, and I can tell you that had a child overdosed that would not have been something that when they showed up at school the next week, I would have just, hi in the hallways. No, I would have gone out of my way to get to know the parents and try to, I guess you could call it being nosy. I would want to make sure that I was doing everything in my power to kind of monitor this person from a distance, but closely at the same time, if you know what I mean. That wasn't being done in Katelyn's case. So that's what I mean when I say that there's really no one person to point your finger at. People have made comparisons to Tammy and Casey Anthony, and I don't know how seasoned you are on the Casey case. Casey, first of all, had her parents primarily watching Kaylee, okay? And I have not heard anything about other family members raising Katelyn. I know that, when Katelyn got older and was old enough to watch the children, Tammy, it does seem like based on video coverage that Katelyn was with the kids a lot. But I know that before that, Tammy was primarily raising Katelyn. So there's a difference right there. Secondly, Casey, friends galore came around and said that they have no doubt in their mind that she was doing some little Xanax concoction. That's why she came up with Zanny the Nanny, to have Kaylee sleeping for days. And her own parents in a recent interview came out and said that Kaylee would sleep for days. And now it all makes sense why. Tammy did not drug Katelyn. Yeah, she was on antidepressants. That's not the same thing at all. Thirdly, after Kaylee was, the heart sticker on the mouth by Casey, buried in the woods, like in a trash bag, literally. I don't really, at that point, I didn't care how Kaylee died. Like, I didn't care if it was an accident or not. Some people say she drowned in the family pool. Maybe that's true. That didn't matter to me. What mattered to me was how Casey disposed of her body like trash and then didn't even tell authorities, didn't even suffer. What did she do? She started partying at clubs and stealing at stores, and she got a tattoo that said "The Beautiful Life" a week after her daughter was dead. Who does that? What kind of mom does that? Tammy didn't do that. Tammy hasn't spoken out. So, and Tammy certainly, to my knowledge, has not gotten a tattoo that says "The Beautiful Life." Now, if she is knocked up by Anthony, some people are saying, well, that how could she even be sad her daughter died when she's clearly, engaging in sex and stuff? Excuse me, we don't know if she was having sex or not before what happened to Katelyn. I know that speculating, though, I know that comparing Tammy to Casey, based on what I know of both of these cases, is not really fair at all. Casey, too, was very privileged and spoiled. You can't say that about Tammy. So, I don't really know what else to say now. I think I've covered everything. I mostly wanted to talk about kind of who, nobody knows who I am. I've never done answer Q&As. I've never done anything like that. Y'all have an idea of me. Y'all know I can be really annoying. Y'all know that I care a lot about my looks. Y'all know I like makeup. Y'all know I like posting stuff of my children. Y'all know I like to sing. Y'all know that I am extremely a nervous person. I don't know what else to say, but y'all don't know really my motives or my reasonings behind posting stuff. I really shouldn't have to come out and explain that. I feel like anybody who loves Katelyn and grew to love her, all they have to do is a person with that kind of love for somebody can recognize it in other people. It's really that simple. But I guess, like I said, because I saw that group had over 200 something likes or thumbs up or whatever, or members. I'm not really sure if it was members or likes, but because of that amount, I felt like I needed to be like, whoa, dude. Yeah. So even though I do feel like the truth always prevails, in this case, I still at the same time always feel like, well, what if I died tomorrow? And, I would prefer to be able to speak on my own behalf. So here I am. And there's really nothing else to say. Again, thanks to all the people who, and there are comments I get from people who have had family members commit suicide, just like Katelyn, who have suicidal thoughts themselves, who, it is really, it's Katelyn has started a movement, I feel like, that's really important. We all know suicide exists, and we all know that it is always going to exist. But I think until Katelyn's story, nobody really paid attention to the less obvious signs of a potentially suicidal child in this case, the awareness now is much stronger, and it's obviously horrid that it took something like this for people to start paying more attention. But even to this day, I mean, I go in these YouNow chats and I'll see these little girls. I'll be like, how old are you? She'll be on webcam. There's a little girl, Fatima. I'm actually subscribed to her on live YouNow because I'm worried about this girl. She lives in England, or that's what she says, and she's like 7. And that's not even, they have rules on there, but where are the moderators? Like, there are supposed to be moderators on these websites. This girl gets on all the time. There was only one successful ban that I had on that site, YouNow, and it was only because a bunch of people from a group were going in there because I posted this girl's information on there. So they all went in there at one time and they were letting YouNow know. But, you would think after what happened with Katelyn and now all of the following live streamed suicides, you would now think that there would be more moderating going on, but there's not. A lot of people have all these different ideas of why they think Katelyn did what she did. A lot of people think they just chalk it off to Tammy, which I think is absolutely insane because kids grow up a lot of times in even worse environments and they grow up and they become successful. Look at Elizabeth Smart, who was kidnapped, raped, held hostage for years, and she's happy and wrote a book and had a baby. Obviously, it's not really that black and white. So what I personally, and I'm not a professional, so, you can disagree with me and that's perfectly fine. I feel like it's a mix of the Prozac because it has actually been proven. And I was working on a video about this, but I just really have not had the time. There are so many clips to edit, but Prozac, out of all the antidepressants, there are people who've never felt suicidal in their life. They took it, and for some odd reason, they just decided they wanted to kill themselves in a violent way, and they had to get off of it. There are so many court cases where people it's insane how even shrimp who have ingested Prozac in the ocean, instead of swimming like they normally do, they swim they purposely in their lives. Research it. It's not a joke. It sounds absurd. It's true. And it only does this to certain people in the population, but people have tried to get it banned for that very reason. So I think it was a mix of that. I do feel like that Luke Callahan person, because she was already prone to suicide because of trying to OD in the past, suicide running in her family. So I've heard, on top of the Prozac, I feel like Luke Callahan, that having a male's attention telling you at that moment to kill yourself, that didn't obviously help at all. On top of her life that seemed at the time like it was very kind of hopeless in a lot of ways. There were just so many different things, and a lot of it I do attribute Anthony to it also. So I just, like I said, I keep saying I feel like it was a mix of things, and there's no innocent person really in this whole thing, and I'm going to stand by that. So does that mean that I hate Matthew or hate Tammy? No, that means, we all make mistakes sometimes. There have been parents who've driven tipsy before in their car with their kids, and everything's fine and nobody would ever know about it, would they? But guess what? Their mistakes happened to have this outcome. Did they see it coming? Hell to the no. Do I think they saw it coming? Of course, Tammy and Matthew did not see a future with their daughter the way it turned out. So anybody who thinks they should have seen it coming, I feel like that they're being impractical. So their mistakes in life just happen to have a really horrible outcome, but we've all made mistakes. I don't think they're both bad guys, but like I said, I just feel like everything failed her. I think the Prozac really effed with her outlook, on top of the Luke guy pressuring her at a really bad moment. I've taken a Prozac, and hold on one second. I need to let these people know that I am recording before they come up here. Hold on. So I was just going to say that I was actually at my father-in-law's house, and this was like in 2000, it would have been 2011 because my daughter's age at that time. So yes, it was 2011, and I was taking a Prozac, and this was only for a few days. And I remember telling my husband, I was crying, and I was thinking of all the guilty things that have made, or the things I've done in my life that made me feel guilty. And I was thinking it was like almost like a mission. Like, I have to do this. I need to end my life, and violently, and nothing logical was going to stop me. And if it weren't for my husband, like, practically restraining me at that moment, I really can't even explain it. It was out of the ordinary for me. And I blame it on the Prozac. So hold on one second. and I don't want to talk, sorry, I just unpaused it, so if I sound different, but I don't want to talk too much about the Prozac because I'm saving that for another video, but I still like people to be informed. And yeah, I mean, pretty much that's it in a nutshell, is that I've been on every kind of antidepressant you could imagine since I was also like Katelyn. Well, I was 13, so I was 1 year older than her when I was first put on Paxil. And the only one that made me literally feel like I had to kill myself just after 3 days of being on it was Prozac. And flushed those down the toilet thanks to my husband. I mean, if my husband hadn't been there, I don't know what I would have done. So I think it was, if there had been somebody like a Luke Callahan, and especially if I had been as impressionable as a 12-year-old, and there had been someone like a Luke Callahan while I was on the Prozac, oh my God, like I'm like 99.9% certain that I wouldn't be here. So I feel like it's a mix of things. I can't blame, again, Tammy and Matthew, because I do feel like they were trying in their own ways, and I know for a fact they love their child. And so, yeah. That's what and my opinions are ever changing when it comes to something like this that I haven't first-handedly experienced. I wasn't in Katelyn's life. This is all mere speculation. So yeah, that's it. As far as people asking me, about speaking with, Tammy's sister, Daphne, we have spoken, and we do intend on doing I don't want to really call it an interview because people like to make fun of me and call me an amateur and all this, and I am an amateur. The point of me talking to these people is for y'all and for me too. And I mean, I get the same thing out of it that you do. We're just trying to get more information. I don't think there's any such thing as having too much information. And two, just getting to know these people, just hearing them talk at all. Hearing them talk is eye-opening. Just getting to know them as people, even if it's not information, just hearing how they talk. That may sound judgmental, but I mean, that's just you're just getting to know these people. I feel like that's very important. So it's like when you're reading a book and you get to know all the characters, it's just important. They all play roles in Katelyn. So, but do I intend on are we going to speak? Yes. Have I spoken with her yet? No. Am I accepting any questions for her? Sure. She's super sweet. She's not going to sling any mud. She loves Katelyn, and she is only on Katelyn's side. That's what she has said, and her actions prove that. And so I am really anticipating hearing what she has to say. So I guess that's how I'm going to end this. So thanks for listening, and yeah, bye.